Hey, welcome to our heart opening flow. As part of our heart opening series in week 3, we've been working on Ustrasana or camel to Sasangasta, and we're going to integrate that into this flow today. We've also been working on crow and crane, so you've seen that in your tutorials. We're going to work that into our flow today, so you can choose either or, crow or crane, depending on how much of a challenge you would actually like or how much strength building you've been doing. We're going to do a little bit of core work, so you'll see that through this flow as well. A little bit of balancing, but we will work into some asana that will help us open up through the heart chakra, so anywhere from the ribs up to the shoulders to the neck here, all the way stretching out to the fingertips. So we're going to work into that space today. So I hope you enjoy this flow. So to start off with today, we're actually going to set up our blocks, and I'll turn side on for you. So we set the blocks up in a T shape, so I'm kind of off my mat here, but I welcome you to set this up lengthways. So this block here is actually going to go between the shoulder blades. So if you think about roughly where your bra strap is, set yourself up between the shoulder blades, and then this block is resting the head. And so one block is on the mid height and then one block is on the low height. Hands like training wheels down by the side of the body. And you can either have the legs straight out in front of you if this is enough for you today. Alternatively, you can bring the knees a little closer to the chest, touch the soles of the feet together and open up to Supta Baddha Konasana. So we're in a supported variation here. Take a really deep inhale. It might take you a moment or two just to get comfortable in this space. Connecting with the breath, maybe close the eyes. Take a deep inhale. Feel the belly rise, and as you exhale, feel the belly fall. Notice if you're drawing breath just into the ribs and the top of the lungs, or if you're drawing the breath all the way down to the belly. As you're connecting with the breath, inhale and exhale. Notice the journey of the breath traveling in through the nose, down the back of the throat, all the way to the belly, allowing the belly to rise, the lungs to fill and the ribs to expand. Then as you exhale the breath, emptying the lungs, eventually the belly draws down to the spine, and the breath that no longer serves us exits the body. So this following the journey of the breath can really help us to drop into our practice and connect ourselves to our mat for the next hour. Finding a little bit of calm in the mind. Maybe you've had a super busy day and you just need a little bit of respite. This practice is going to give you exactly that. So know that as you lie here, feeling a little bit of opening in the hips, with each breath and each exhale, noticing a little bit more of a surrender of the shoulders down to the earth. Allowing yourself to acknowledge any places of tension. Allowing those places of tension to drift away with your exhale. If any thoughts start to come into the mind, apart from those following the journey of the breath, thank those thoughts for arriving and allow them to drift away with the exhale breath. Sometimes if they continue to come and go and you continue to be challenged with your busy brain in this space, I like to envisage a bubble, so kind of like the bubble that you would create from washing up liquid. And I visualize that bubble hovering over my heart space. And as those thoughts come into my mind, I thank them for coming. welcome into the bubble. It's just floating over my chest, over my heart space, above the ribs. And as that bubble begins to flow or fill with my thoughts, as it reaches capacity, I take a deep inhale, and as I exhale, I open the mouth and blow the bubble away. That sends the bubble out the window, over the ocean, taking with it all of those thoughts, allowing me to just be in the present moment, grounded and connected to the earth. Feeling that sensation of calm and peace starting to wash over me as I connect in with the breath. For this practice, our heart opening practice today. So we're going to take 3 more rounds of breath here. Inhaling and exhaling. You may feel the shoulders soften. You may feel the knees soften. I did forget to mention that if you have any tension underneath or in the hips here in your Baddha Konasana, you can actually chock the hips up with either blocks or a towel. And I'm just going to demonstrate with my hands that you bring them, you can raise the knees slightly and wedge whatever it is underneath the hip joint and allow the legs, the outside of the thighs to rest. And I'm just demonstrating that with my hands. Preference is not to use the hands, but to use a towel. Otherwise, if that's comfortable for you, feel free to just stay in your Supta Baddha Konasana. So as we're moving out of this restorative pose, I want you to bring the hands to the back of the head, gently tuck the chin, elbows down. You can bring the knees back to center and then use the elbows to assist you out of that posture. And we can just put the blocks to the side, as we'll come back to those later in class. Just coming into our hero's pose onto the knees. So we're just going to start out with a couple of stretches here. Our first stretch is that we're going to tuck the toes underneath us. So tucking the toes underneath looks like that. We're going to sit back into the hips. Bring the hands to the heart space, close down the eyes, and we're stretching into the toe fascia here. Now, if that becomes a little bit of a challenge, we have our handy block right next to us. You can lift the knees slightly, rest the knees onto the block. That takes the pressure off the toe joints. And you can stay there in balance. Otherwise, the knees remain on the earth, the toes are tucked. Bring the hands to the heart space. You can close the eyes for a moment here. Just take 4 rounds of breath. Inhale. Exhale 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 4. Really feeling that lovely opening in the toes. Release the hands down to the earth. Untuck the toes, give them a little toe tap, try not to put any holes in the floor. Relax back down. Again, sitting into the heels, this time you have that real hip to heel connection here, and you can feel the tummy drawing back to the spine, sinking back into the heels. We're going to lift the knees from the earth, and we're stretching through the front of the shin here. Very helpful for our Urdhva Mukha, our upward facing dog. So again, if this provides a little bit too much of a challenge, you can use a block or a towel as assistance. Or if you're fine here, you're more than welcome to stay. Again, hands to the heart center. Closing down the eyes if you would like. Squeezing the thighs, the inner thighs together. Taking 4 rounds of breath. Again, finding that connection to the inhale and the exhale. Feeling the belly rise and the belly draw back to the spine. Feeling the journey of the breath traveling through the nose, down the back of the throat, all the way into the body, reoxygenating, replenishing, rejuvenating. And the exhale, allowing what no longer serves us to drift away, making room for all that beautiful fresh oxygen. One more round of breath here. Exhale, release the knees down to the earth, release the hands down to the earth. Our next stretch, we're actually going to come all the way up onto our knees. Take the right leg out to the side. Take an inhale and rest that left hand with the exhale onto the floor. Next inhale lifts the right arm high. Looking towards the fingertips, a little bit of a side body stretch here. And you might feel this a little into our psoas, my favorite muscle to stretch. Inhale, lift the arm up, and as you reach over and exhale, gazing towards the fingertips. So you might actually look towards the elbow to start and gently take that elbow back towards the ear, feeling a little bit of opening in the shoulder, in the chest, maybe even a little bit of a lift of the heart space towards the sky. Taking the gaze to the elbow, gently gazing up the forearm to the wrist, eventually to the hand and the fingertips as you reach away. And taking that gaze and working that gaze up the arm actually entices you to stretch a little bit further. So take another 2 rounds of breath here. Really feel this stretch from the fingertips all the way to the knife edge of that right foot. One more round of breath. Exhale and release that hand down to the earth and coming up over to the other side, taking the left foot out to the side, right hand down to the earth. Inhale, left hand high. Take another round of breath and reach that arm all the way over the top of the body. Gentle gaze to the elbow, draw that elbow back towards the ear. Inhale, looking to the elbow, gazing the forearm, gazing all the way to the wrist, the hand, and eventually the fingertips as they reach to the side of the room. Feeling that stretch all the way down through the ribs, the intercostals, down the side of the waist, perhaps into the psoas a little bit. You may even feel a slight press of the hips forward and a little bit of a heart opening here as you expand the chest towards the sky. One more round of breath. Exhale and release that all the way down to the earth, coming onto our heels and knees. The toes, the feet are flat underneath. I'm just going to take a little bit of core work here. Hands by the side of the knees. So we're actually going to work up into the core, particularly important when we go into our crow and crane. So hands pressed into the floor. We're going to draw the knees up towards the chest, balancing on the toes and the hands. So I haven't got the toes tucked, the front of the feet is pressed down to the earth. Squeeze the legs together and you can tuck the forehead to the knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. The hands come behind the body, almost touching the toes. Press the hands, palms into the earth and lift the heart space, gently gazing back to the back of the room. So this is our first heart opening. Well, actually it's our second after our restful heart opening. Inhale, draw the chest, or the chin to the chest rather. Bring the hands back to the knees. I'm just going to turn side on for this demo. Hands into the knees. The feet stay flat to the floor. Lift up, pressing the earth away. Drawing the forehead to the knees for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. Hands to the toes. Press the hands, palms into the earth. Lift the heart space. Lift the chest. Gently release the head, looking towards the back of the room. Take 3 rounds of breath here. Inhale, exhale, 1. Inhale, exhale, 2, lifting the heart space. Inhale, exhale, 3. Draw the chin to the chest, gently bring the body weight forward. Press the hands, palms into the earth. We've got 2 more rounds. We're feeling it in the core, right? Press the earth away. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Release the knees down to the earth, fingertips to the toes. Open up the heart space, release the head. 3 rounds of breath. Inhale, exhale, 2. Inhale, exhale, 3. Draw the chin to the chest. Body weight slightly forward, hands into the earth. Last round, I promise. Lifting the knees, squeeze the legs together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. Fingertips to the toes. Expand the heart space up to the universe. Looking to the back, gazing to the back of the room or the side. I'm facing the side. Inhale the chin back to the chest. Come back. And we're going to just slide into our neutral tabletop position and take a few rounds of cat-cow. So our first is our cow stretch, and this is a lovely heart opening stretch, and then countered by our cat stretch. So as you inhale, belly goes down. You're going to slide the shoulder blades back, tilt the pelvis, and send the heart space forward. As you exhale, press the earth away, round through the back, gently tucking the chin to the chest. Inhale, belly down. Exhale, rolling through the back body. You might hear some pops and cracks. That's totally okay. Inhale, belly down. Exhale, rolling through the back body. One more round. Inhale, belly down. Exhale, roll through the back body. We're going to take a few rounds of what I like to call Yogi Explorer. So come back to your neutral tabletop. And Yogi Explorers, we're just going to find those places where we have a little bit of like maybe kinks or a sticky point in our cat-cow, and just take a little bit of an exploration. So maybe the hips are going back to the heels, and we use the breath here, maybe sending the hips to the right and the left, and the head in the opposite direction. Maybe feeling that cat stretch and that same sending of the hips. And maybe just staying wherever feels a little bit funky for you today, and just feeling that exploration of any stretch that kind of feels a bit groovy. So when you come back to your neutral tabletop, take the knees slightly apart, sit back down onto the heels, sink the hips towards the heels. We're going to take child's pose to start with here. Take an inhale. As you exhale, hands to the mat, and gently slide the body forward, gazing forward, and eventually bringing the forehead or the third eye down to the mat. Now, if you're struggling in this pose, if you've got sore knees, you can actually jack the knees up with a mat or a towel, so popping the mat underneath the knees here, so that will raise the hips slightly, take a little bit of pressure off the knees. You can also use a towel for that, possibly not blocks, they're a little bit too high. If the forehead is not reaching the earth, you can rest the forehead on the hands. But I want you to really breathe into this space. Connect in with the inhale and the exhale. The inhale is going to create space, and the exhale is going to allow you to surrender and occupy the space which you have created. So take a deep inhale. As you exhale, surrender the body down to the earth. Try and maintain the hip to heel connection in this child's pose. Inhale, creating space, and the exhale, allowing you to surrender. We're going to take 4 more rounds of breath here. Inhale. Exhale, surrender. Inhale. Exhale, surrender. Inhale. Exhale. One more round. Inhale. Exhale. I want you to walk the fingertips forward a little bit. Lift the elbows from the earth. Activate your child's pose. Take 3 rounds of breath here, creating a little bit of tapas in the body, heat in the body. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Elbows back down to the earth. Come back into this kind of half dolphin pose. Move the knees back underneath the hips. And we're going to come into Anahatasana. So grabbing hold of the front end of your mat. Keeping the hips well over the top of the knees. I want you to drop the chest down to the earth. So this is our first heart opening posture for the day. Well, actually, really, it's like our 3rd or 4th, isn't it? Already. So we're really pressing the chest towards the mat. Now, my chin is forward and my hands, palms are reaching forward. But if you're not as open in this posture, it might be easier to grab hold of the mat and give yourself something to, it's almost like you're stretching the mat away from you. And then that way you've got a little bit of a grip space there that you can allow the elbows to dig into the earth and then lower the chest. You might find that in this space, even with that grip and your hips over the top of the heels, you might bring the forehead down to the earth. But the most important thing to do here is to connect in with the breath. So that breathe and surrender as we inhale and exhale. And that surrender as you exhale. So important in allowing you to let go of stuff that you're holding on to. One more round of breath here. Coming out of this posture, we're just going to slide forward and come down into a little sphinx pose. So elbows are into the earth, digging into the earth. My feet are flat to the ground. I'm going to take an inhale. As I inhale, press the elbows into the earth and try and separate the ribs from the hips. So it's like you're sending the heart space forward, and you should feel a lengthening through the back body. You can gently tuck the chin here, lengthening through the cervical spine. Draw the shoulders down the back body, but really keep that press of the elbows into the earth. The feet remain connected to the earth. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. You can really feel the belly pressing into the mat. That lovely expansion of the breath. This is where you can really feel that belly to earth connection. It's quite lovely. Little internal organ massage while we're here. So bringing the elbows a little closer into the waist and pressing back up to our neutral tabletop, bringing the knees underneath the hips and the hands stacked underneath the shoulders. We're just going to take 3 rounds of cat-cow here. Inhale, allow the belly to go down to the earth. Send the chest, the heart space forward. As you exhale, rounding through the back, countering some of that heart opening with this lovely arching of the back. Inhale, belly down. Exhale, roll through the back body. One more round. Inhale, belly down. Exhale, rolling through the back body. From here, I want you to just come back to your neutral tabletop. Look down to the hands. Make sure they're stacked underneath or just outside of the shoulders, because we're going to move into downward facing dog. So we don't want the hands directly underneath the chest here. We need them out to the side a little bit. Make sure your fingers are like starfish, that you have them spread apart and your middle finger is pointing forward. This is going to ensure that you're not dumping down into the wrists as we press up into our downward facing dog. So as you make these assessments, looking down at the hands, making sure that you've got your positioning correct, tuck the toes behind and lift the hips high. So we're pressing the hips up to the sky. So this is a really good point in time to just start a little bit of movement here, just mindfully. So by mindful, I mean just paying attention to what you're doing, being a little bit compassionate to the calves at this point in time, perhaps. So moving through the feet, and just slow this down for a moment here. And take the left heel down to the mat and the right heel lifts, a little bit of calf stretch. And then swap that over. So the right heel stretches down to the mat, the left heel is lifted. We're going to take 2 more rounds like that. Lifting the right heel, drawing the left down to the mat. Lifting the left heel, drawing the right down to the mat. This time I want you to lift both heels from the mat, press up into the toes. So it's like a ballerina pressing up into the toes. Now press the mat away so that you're really pushing the mat away from you. Lift the hips high. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, allow the heels to draw down to the earth and lift the hips up towards the sky. Draw the tummy to the spine. Knit the floating ribs together and feel that length in your downward facing dog. We're going to take 5 rounds of breath here, finding a little bit of calm. And if you've disconnected from the breath, this is a really good opportunity to come back in and reconnect. 4 more rounds of breath to go here. So just making some micro adjustments. Could be external rotation of the shoulders, broadening across the back body, knitting the floating ribs, heels down to the mat. If the heels are touching the mat, you might even like to lift the toes. You might allow your gaze to go back and look through the legs, pressing the mat away and going through these cycles. Take another round of breath here. Inhale and exhale. With the next inhale, gaze towards the hands, bend the knees and gently walk the feet forward. So where feet are meeting the wrists, wrists meet feet, feet meet wrists, and we bend into the knees. Allow the head to hang heavy. And this is our ragdoll pose. So I want you to rock forward and back in the feet just a little bit here and just see if you can feel the difference. As you roll forward, you'll feel the hips lifting just a little bit. And as you roll back and the toes lift, that weight shifting back. So find that middle ground where the ball of the feet and the heels are taking equal weight. Allow the head to release. Keep the bend in the knees so the belly is connected to the thighs. And just breathe here. Take a few rounds of inhale and exhale. Notice that you might feel that expansion across the ribs of the back body. This is our place of receiving love in the heart space, from the heart space. So breathe deeply and connect in with that sensation of getting a warm hug from someone that you love. Feeling that warm hug wrapping around your body. Receiving love. Another round of breath. Allow the head to hang heavy. Feel that warm hug as the breath moves through the body. Take hold of opposite elbows, allowing yourself to hang just a little heavier in this forward fold. Take a little swing from right to left. Be gentle with the self, allowing yourself to feel the lengthening through the spine. And perhaps a slight lengthening of the hamstrings here as well. Release the hands down to the earth. Allow that bend in the knees to be there. Heel toe the feet together. Bring the right hand in front of both feet. In front of the right foot. Bend the left leg and just gently open that left hand up to the sky. So we've got a little heart opening twist here. Finding our balance. And just having that experience of lifting and opening up into the heart space. Exhale and release. Bring that hand in front of the left foot, bend the right knee, and then lift the right hand. Opening up to the sky, feeling that first little spinal twist here. As you inhale, maybe gazing up, seeing if you can see the fingertips. I cannot see my fingertips, but that's okay. Exhale and release. Take a gentle bend into both knees, release the head, let go of any tension in the neck, and gently roll all the way up to standing. Ta-da! Tadasana. I always feel like, oh, that took a while to get there, but it feels good. We've done lots of opening already. We've had some experiences where we've opened up into the heart space and opened up through the back body. So the front of the body is our giving of love. It's where we give our love from. The back body is said to be the receiving space of love. So as we work into this, even camel and Ustrasana to Sasangasana, so camel pose being that place of shooting or sending our love out into the world, and Sasangasana finding or recovering some of that extension through the spine and being in that place of receiving love. So we're going to move through a couple of rounds of sun salutation, and then we're going to start adding into our sun sal. So ground the feet down into the earth. You may even like to lift the toes and just test where your center of gravity is, and you might like to shut the eyes. Grounding down into the earth. And as you lift the toes, rock the body weight back slightly, lifting into Pada Bandha. So this is where we lift the toes and we can feel that foot lock as it lifts into our arches. And as we do that, distributing the weight evenly through the balls of our feet and into the heel, the inside and the outside of the heel. Feel the energy that you're sending down into the mat. Allow that energy to be returned, drawing up through the shins, lifting the kneecaps, lifting the quadriceps, allowing a slight tuck of the pelvis as the tailbone draws down towards the earth. This in turn allows you to draw the tummy into the spine, a slight lift of the chest, but a knitting together of those floating ribs, keeping that firmness in the core. Shoulders, draw the shoulders up towards the ears. Now as you exhale, allow the shoulders to float down and back, reaching the crown of the head towards the sky, eventually spreading the toes and resetting the toes on the mat and finding your Tadasana. Guaranteed if you stayed here for any length of time, you would break a sweat. Tadasana is not always the easiest pose, but it is the base for everything that we do. It's our perfectly unique alignment. Let's take a few rounds of our sun salutation. Take an inhale, reach the arms up over the head. Press the hands, palms together, gaze towards the thumbs. As you exhale, hinge forward from the hips, bring the hands through the heart center and release the hands down to the mat. Inhale, come to flat back, draw the tummy to the spine. Look maybe 2 or 3 feet in front of you. As you lengthen through the back body, drawing the crown of the head forward. Exhale. Release the hands down to the mat and step back into plank. So in our first round of sun salutation here, we're going to bring the knees, the chest and the chin down to the earth. As you inhale, find Bhujangasana, cobra pose. So make sure you're not taking too much weight in the hand, drawing the shoulders down and back, elbows into the ribs and into the waist. Take a breath. As you exhale, tuck the toes, press back, find your downward facing dog. Take 3 rounds of breath here. Inhale, exhale 1. Inhale, exhale 2. Inhale, exhale 3. The next round of breath, bend the knees, look forward to the hands, step or float to your flat back. As you exhale, hinge forward, surrender the head down to the earth. Inhale, elbows float up, lifting you all the way back up to Tadasana, hands, palms touch, gaze towards the thumbs. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands by the side, round 2. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, hinge forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back to plank. holding your plank here for just a moment, lifting the right leg from the earth. Make sure you're pressing the mat away and lifting up and out of the shoulders, creating that slight doming across the back. Exhale, release, left leg lift. We're creating a little bit of strength in the core here. Really press those toes away, finding length through the back body. Exhale, release. Bringing the knees down to the mat. This is a second variation for your chaturanga. We're coming down, elbows by the side body. As you inhale, feet go to the floor. Lift for your Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. Take an inhale. As you exhale, tuck the toes, press back, downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath here. Make any adjustments that you need to make. Make sure the fingers are spread out on the mat. The hands, palms, pressing the earth away. The hips lifted. The extension through the hamstrings, creating length all the way through the back body in this downward dog, our Ardha Mukha. With the next inhale, gaze towards the hands on the earth, bend the knees, step or float forward. Find your flat back, extension through the crown of the head, lifting forward. Exhale, surrender and bow down to the earth, Uttanasana. Inhale, elbows float you on back. Hands, palms reach up over the head. Exhale, hands to heart center and hands by the side. Round 3, inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, hinge forward, Uttanasana. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, step back to plank. Taking full Chaturanga Dandasana this time. So we're going to slightly shift the body weight forward. Allow yourself to come down to the earth, not all the way. Turn over the toes. Lift as you inhale into Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath here. Inhale, exhale 1. Inhale, exhale 2. Little adjustments where you need them. Inhale, exhale 3. With the next inhale, gaze towards the hands, bend the knees, step or float forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, surrender the head, Uttanasana. Inhale, elbows reaching high, floating all the way up. Hands, palms, touch. Exhale, hands to heart center and hands by the side. So our next round of vinyasa, it's your choice. So you can either take your 8-limbed Ashtanga Namaskar, so 8 points of contact. You can take the second version variation, which is knees down to the earth, then coming down into the push-up, just coming to Bhujangasana, or alternatively you can take full Chaturanga, yogi's choice. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, surrender on down, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step or float back. Take your vinyasa. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha or Bhujangasana. Exhale, roll over the feet, press back. Downward facing dog, 3 rounds of breath. Inhale, exhale 1. Inhale, exhale 2. Inhale, exhale 3. With the next inhale, gaze towards the fingertips, bend the knees, step or float forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, surrender the head. Inhale, elbows float on up, hands, palms, press up over the head, gaze or dristi towards the thumbs, lift up out of the hips, tummy towards the spine, slight lift of the chest and release of the shoulders. That's a challenge. Exhale, hands to heart center and hands by the side. Last round of vinyasa. Inhale, arms reach over the head. Exhale, surrender on down to the earth. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step or float, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Ardha Mukha. 3 rounds of breath. Inhale, exhale 1. Inhale, exhale 2. Inhale, exhale 3. Inhale, look towards the hands, bend the knees, step or float forward. Find your flat back. Gazing slightly forward, tummy into the spine, lengthen through the back body. Exhale, lift the hips as you surrender on down. And finally, inhale, lifting all the way up. Hands, palms together. Reach those hands, palms up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center and hands by the side. Take a moment here with your hands in prayer. Close down the eyes, connect into the breath. Take 3 really big, deep inhales here. Feel the breath filling the body. Feel the lungs filling with air. We have this inbuilt capacity for self-love. Every time we take a breath, our lungs beautifully give our hearts a little hug. Such a beautiful thought that we have this capacity for self-love within us, and with every breath, our heart and our lungs remind us of the love that we have within us. Take one more deep breath as you find that connection to that self-love in this moment. Can you hold on to that self-love throughout this practice today? For each breath, the heart getting a little hug from the lungs. Open up the eyes, allow the hands to drift by the side body. We're going to take Utkatasana, so sweep the hands down by the earth. Inhale, lift the chest and lift a little bit higher. Gaze down towards the toes. Make sure you can see the toes over the knees. Drop the hips a little lower. Engage the tummy, draw the belly to the spine, lift the chest. Drop the hips a little bit lower. Engage the belly to the spine, lift the chest. Hold here for 2 rounds of breath. Inhale, exhale 1. Everybody's favorite exercise, Utkatasana. We love it. Yay. Yogis, 1 more breath just because we can. Bring the hands to heart center. Exhale, surrender as you straighten the legs for your Utkatasana. Inhale, flat back. As you exhale, step on back to plank. Take whichever variation of your vinyasa you're taking today. Inhale to Urdhva Mukha. As you exhale, roll it on back. Press back. Ardha Mukha. Get your mala off your ear if it got stuck there. Inhale and lift to the right leg high. Meet the couch, I meant that too. We're really pointing, we've got the weight equally distributed between the hands and the remaining foot. We are lifting the belly towards the spine with each inhale and feeling the extension through the back body, pointing the toe towards the sky. Relax the head. I want you now to open the hip and take that right foot towards the left butt cheek. Keep the toe pointed. This time take your gaze over the left shoulder and see if you can see the right toe in the corner of the eye. Just stretching and holding here. Continue to connect to the breath. Inhale, exhale 1. Inhale, exhale 2. Stretch a little deeper. You might go off-piste ever so slightly. Inhale, bring that foot back to center. Exhale and release. You're welcome to take a vinyasa here. Shift the shoulders over the hands. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, urdhva mukha. Exhale, roll it on back. Ardha mukha. Inhale and lift that left leg high. Pressing the hands, palms into the earth, starfish fingers. Heel at the back. Taking some of the body weight as well as it's equally distributed through those 3 points of contact. Draw the tummy up to the spine as you press away and lift the back left toes to the sky. Tuck the heel towards the right glute as you open the hip. Gaze over the right elbow and see if you can see the toe just popping into the peripheral vision. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. See if you can stretch a little bit further. Finding that slightly off-piste opening here. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release that left foot rather down to the earth. Shoulders over the hands. Exhale, take a vinyasa. Inhale, urdhva mukha. Exhale, ardha mukha. Press it on back. 3 rounds of breath here. Make any adjustments you need to make. Inhale, exhale 1. Inhale, exhale 2. Inhale, exhale 3. The next inhale, gaze towards the fingertips, bend the knees, step or float forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, surrender on down, lift the hips high. Hold here for just a moment. As you find that stretch, you might like to grab hold of the heels at the back here. Maybe take a little bend into the knees. Lift the hips, rock the body weight forward, and draw the head down towards the earth. Feeling that lovely extension through the back body, the lengthening through the hamstrings. Engage the biceps, use the biceps to pull the body down towards the earth. One more round of breath here. Inhale. Exhale, last bit of length. Release the hands from the ankles. Inhale, rolling all the way up to standing. Press the hands, palms up over the head. Hands to heart center and hands by the side. Take an inhale breath. I actually take an inhale breath, but sweep those hands down to Utkatasana because we loved it so much. Inhale and lift the heart space. As you exhale, surrender the hips down to the earth. Look towards the toes. Check out your pedicure. I need a new one. Might go tomorrow. Drop the hips back. Draw the belly to the spine. Lift the chest. Inhale, drop the hips. Belly to the spine. Lift the chest. Exhale, surrender on down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step or float back. Take your vinyasa. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, urdhva mukha. Exhale, press back, ardha mukha. This time we are going to lift the right leg high, pressing the weight equally and evenly into those hands and foot. Gaze towards the hands and bring the knee to the nose. So we're just going to hold here for a moment. As we hold here for a moment, we're going to rock onto that right hand, extend the right leg underneath, and come into our falling star. Doesn't feel very falling, it feels like a whole lot of hard work. But keep breathing. Take one more round of breath. Take that foot back, come back into your tiger curl, so the knee is still towards the nose. Look towards the hands, step that foot forward, and come up into crescent lunge. Beautiful, lovely crescent lunge. A little bit of a heart opener here. Press the toes into the earth, lift up out of that back knee. Shift the body weight forward slightly. Drop down into the hip, lift the chest, drop the shoulders. Nothing to think about here. Release the hands by the side body. And take the left hand underneath the right. Garudasana arms. Our lovely Garudasana arms. We're going to shift the body weight forward in our right leg and come into our eagle pose. So challenge yourself, come through Ekapada Tadasana, bend into that right leg, wrap the leg around and find your balance. Lifting the elbows slightly. Woo! Trying to center yourself, finding that balance, dropping the hips, tummy to the spine, elbows lifted. One more round of breath. We're going to unwrap the leg and come into our warrior three, lifting up through Ekapada, drawing back, keep those Garudasana arms, opening the heart space, bending into the right leg, gently placing the left leg back into our crescent. Inhale and lift the hands high, heart opening, back bending, looking, gazing towards the fingertips. One more round of breath. Inhale, come back to center, release the hands, come down to the earth, take the right foot back, take your vinyasa, exhale, chaturanga, inhale, urdhva mukha, exhale, press back, ardha mukha. Take 2 rounds of breath here. If you need to rest at any point in time, please come down to child's pose, balasana, and take a break. One more round of breath. Ooh. Lifting the left leg high, stretching and reaching the left leg away, feeling that lovely length happening through the back body. With the next inhale, gaze forward and come to tiger curl. So we're bringing that knee, left knee to the nose, looking or gazing to the left knee, press the earth away. Inhale, roll onto the left hand, extend that bottom left leg. You can also rest this foot onto the earth if that lift becomes a little bit of a challenge. Otherwise, bring it on back. Lift that leg high. Whoops, made a little bit of an error. That's okay. Come back to the tiger curl. A little bit of extra core work there. A little bit of extra core work never helped no one. Tiger curl, look towards the hands. Gently place that foot, take an inhale, and lift on up to crescent lunge. Here we are in our beautiful crescent lunge on the other side. We've got some hip opening happening. As we hip open with our elongated, elevated arms, extended up towards the sky, feeling that working into the heart space. Release the arms to shoulder height. Wrap the arms for Garudasana, so the right comes under the left. So if you don't reach here, perfectly okay to grab hold of a thumb, whatever is going to work for you. Eventually, it will allow you, as you continue to practice, to open up into the shoulders. It's beautiful for working across the heart space, into the back, and opening up through the upper body. We're going to shift into Garudasana pose now. So we're going to come through Ekapata Tadasana. So set yourself up to transfer the body weight into that left leg. Inhale with grace, focus and breath. Bend into the supporting left leg. Wrap that foot. Find that balance. Try not to fall over. Find that control and breath and breathe. Drop the hips, knees to the center. Lift the elbows. I can feel this opening up into my back body. We're going to come into our warrior three through our Ekapata, drawing that right leg back, extending through that back leg, holding here with our hands in our Garudasana arms, opening through the heart space. We're going to bend into that left supporting leg, gently bring ourselves back to crescent lunge. Inhale, lift the shoulders. Gaze towards the fingertips with the next inhale, lifting all the way up, gazing towards the fingertips and eventually to the back of the room. So we feel this stretch and heart opening. Inhale back to center. Take the arms out, down to the side. Step that left foot back and take a vinyasa. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, urdhva mukha. Exhale, press back, Ardha Mukha. Ooh, feeling groovy. Take 2 rounds of breath here. We're going to come into wild thing. So it's a little bit of a combination of our previous 2 warm-up postures. So I want you to take the right leg high. And just like we did in the beginning exercise, we take that right foot over to the left-hand side of the room. Eventually we're going to take that right foot to the earth and lift up and away. You can relax that hand over, having that gaze and lifting the body, the chest towards the sky. Lift the right hand high, bring that hand back down to the earth. Press up to 3-legged dog. You might like to take a vinyasa here, or alternatively, you can return to downward facing dog and just breathe. Exhale, vinyasa. Inhale, urdhva mukha. Exhale, roll it on back. If you're in downward facing dog or balasana, if you're in balasana, come back to downward facing dog. If you're in downward facing dog, get ready for your preparation to wild thing on the left. We're going to lift the left leg, bend into that knee, open up, shift to the body weight. We're going to start to lift that left hand from the earth as we bring the left foot down to the floor, reaching up and over, sending the hips and the heart space high, gazing back to the fingertips over the top of the head. Inhale the left arm high. Bring that hand back towards the earth as you press the left leg towards the sky. If you'd like to take a vinyasa here, you are more than welcome. Alternatively, you can take child's pose or downward facing dog, and we'll meet you back in Ardha Mukha. Taking 2 rounds of breath here. Ooh, being kind to the self. Gaze towards the fingertips. Bring the shoulders over the hands. I just want you to take 5 counts to get to the earth. In your chaturanga, 5, 4, ouch 3, ouch 2, hold it there, ouch 1, ouch a half, ouch a quarter, ouch Oh, there's the mat. How lovely. Rest down. Just touch the toes together. Allow the heels to fall out to the side. Bring the hands underneath the forehead and rest. This feels really good. Maybe we might stay here. I think that's wishful thinking. I might have to turn a light on in a minute. Actually, I might do that now. So everyone stay in that resting space just for a moment, because the sun has set here in my little abode. And unfortunately, when the sun sets, it means the lights must go on. Ta-da, we have illuminated space. That's okay. It is actually a really beautiful vista here. So it's very much a very enjoyable space to practice. A little bit nippy in the cold, and when it gets windy, or like yesterday when we had an earthquake, the whole place shook. Fascinating. West Australia, earthquake. So here we are. The belly is connected to the earth. Our forehead is resting on our hands. We're just going to take a few little back strengthening exercises here. So I want you to bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Don't let the elbows float out to the side. Squeeze the elbows into the body. Kiss the mat. I love you, mat. Take an inhale and peel the body from the mat. So I really want you to feel the elbows tucking into the ribs here. You shouldn't be taking much weight in the hands in this variation, but lifting, a little bit more of a lift. Really feeling the spinal muscles working like a cobra, lifting up through the back. Take another round of breath. Inhale, exhale, and release. Bring the hands underneath the head. Or you can just rest them at the top of the head here and turn yourself or your head to face one side or the other, I don't mind. One ear to the floor, gazing to one side. Take a few rounds of breath here. Feel the belly pressing into the earth. You might even feel a heartbeat as you're lying here. One more round of breath. Lovely sensation of being connected to Pachamama, our beautiful Mother Earth. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Spread the fingers, so just like we do jazz hands, or starfish hands as I like to refer to them, make sure that the hands are spread out so you're taking the weight right through the fingertips, right through to the fingertips rather. Squeeze the elbows into the side body, the feet into the floor, and we're going to create one tail like a cobra, like a snake. Kiss the mat with your next inhale. Peel the body off the mat, squeezing the elbows into the waist, squeeze the elbows into the waist. Inhale, tiny sips of air, stretch a little higher, use a little pressure into the mat to lift the body, draw the shoulders down the back. Inhale, one more, stretch and lengthen the legs away. Feel the heart space, send the heart forward. Inhale, one more breath, gaze up. Exhale and release. Bring the hands forward, turn the other ear down to the mat. Toes touch, heels fall out to the side. A gentle reprieve here for just a moment. Little belly massage into the mat. A little hug of the heart with the breathing. Feels groovy. So we're going to come into Sasangasana. Well, we're going to come into Ustrasana first, then Sasangasana. Before we go there, just a little bit of an extra preparatory exercise. I want you to bring the chin back to the mat so you're getting ready to kiss the mat. And the hands are going to reach around for the feet. You're grabbing on the outside of the feet. Now, if you're particularly flexible, you can go a little bit further down near the ankle, just depending where your grip is and how much strength and flexibility you have. So you can start at the feet, but just make sure it's with an outside grip. Eventually you can sort of turn that in and challenge the direction of the shoulders and the arms. But today we're just going to start with grabbing the feet. Squeeze the knees together. So they shouldn't be, you don't want the knees out here somewhere like crazy lady. You want them in, so they're just like we look at alignment in the rest of our postures. We want the knees to be in a straight line from the hips. We're going to kick, the theory here is to kick the feet into the hands. And as you kick the feet into the hands and you inhale the breath, you're going to lift up. It's almost like levitating, except the belly stays touched to the floor. Because if you can levitate here, please send me a video because that would be freaking awesome. So exhale the breath. Feel yourself deflate all the way to the mat. Kiss the mat. And with the inhale, we're going to kick the feet into the hands. I'm going to go through this process. Inhale and lift. So I'm really kicking the feet into the hands, and this is opening the heart space. I'm gazing up towards my eyebrows, and I'm kicking, 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 squeezing and kicking. One more breath. Inhale, exhale, release the knees. Oh, let go of the feet and take a momentary reprieve. Toes touch, heels fall out to the side, gaze to one side. Wow, that feels so good. It's a real beautiful big heart opener, and it's a really lovely preparation for a couple of different postures. One of those being Ustrasana. So we've gone through our sun salutations, and then we've taken that Bhujangasana where we've lifted the heart space or the chest just a little further, and then we've moved that from our Bhujangasana, so the little baby version, then a higher version, and then we've moved that into floor bow, where we've really opened the heart space and felt that bend by lifting the legs as well. But not only that, is that power of that cyclical breath moving through the body, and the inhale feeling the expansion of the chest, and the exhale allowing you just to go a little bit deeper into that back bend. So that particular exercise can be really great for as a warm-up exercise to going into wheel as well, because you've got that lovely arching, that floor bow gives you that lovely arching sensation. But let's move now, and wheel pose is a beautiful heart opening posture, and we'll explore that in a later flow during the series. But right now, let's come into our Ustrasana camel pose and also our Sasangasana rabbit. So I love animal practice. So press the hands into the earth and come back or come forward into our hero's pose. So in your camel pose, we've been through a little bit of a training demonstration video on these already. So there's a couple of different hand placements that you can try. There's a couple of different techniques, and we might explore one of those techniques for lifting into the heart space during this particular exercise. So I'm going to turn side on so that you can see my camel. You can have side camel. I was going to make a joke about camel toe then, but I'll refrain, but you get the gist. Anyway, so I'm just going to move my anklets out of the way. I love my anklets. So right now I'm in hero's pose, but I'm going to come up onto my knees. I'm going to separate my knees. So again, we're talking about that hip width apart. We covered that in the tutorial. If you don't have the reach to grab hold of the ankles just yet, you can tuck the toes here. All that does is, look at that, it gave me another 4 inches, so I don't have to reach as far until you start opening up into the chest and into the back. So I'm going to leave my feet flat for this one. Already I'm started with my inhale and exhale. We have done quite a little bit of hip opening today, so I should feel a little bit more of an opening here with our Urdhva Mukha in our sun salutations, and also into that crescent lunge in that space. Particularly with that heart opening, we've done a little bit of psoas work, so you should feel reasonably open in the hips, but you're always welcome to do additional hip opening exercises, Anjaneyasana, half Hanumanasana, lizard, dragons, all of those sort of things, go for gold. And here we are, Ustrasana. So, the first variation, hands, palms, tucking the hands into the hips, and you can see what automatically happens is I inhale and I press the hips forward, and then I can drop the head back, pressing the hips, and gently reach around for the ankles. Continue to press into the hips and lift the chest and breathe. You can stay here for as little or as long as you like. I was going to come out, but I'll stay here. 2 more rounds of breath. Bring the hands back to the hips. Give yourselves a little bit of support. Tuck the chin to the chest. Drop the hips back towards the heels. Bring the hands to the knees. You can stay here in hero's pose. Otherwise, feel welcome to drop down to Balasana, child's pose. Personal preference for me is heroes. Totally yogi's choice. Go for Balasana if that is comfortable and available to you. So we're going to explore Ustrasana one more time, and this time I'm just going to give you a little bit of a variation that I learned that I actually really enjoy exploring. And I enjoy it because it actually involves lifting one arm up, and you'll find that as you start to move into your camel pose and it becomes a regular part of your practice, that this lifting of the hand, and you can see even by that action what happens is my heart space automatically draws up, and it's just a lovely alternative exploration. So one of the things about our yoga practice is not to get dogmatic. Oh, that's not the way you do this. Oh, that's not the way you do that. There are so many different schools of thought, and really it's around understanding what works for your body and honoring your practice. So, take the exploration, go on the journey. And then if it works for you, then beautiful, integrate that into your practice. If it's not working for you, maybe sit with a teacher or send me a training video, a video of you doing the exercise, and I'll happily critique that if we can't get together in the same room. All sorts of options will be available to your practice, and it's up to you as to what you would like to integrate and how you would like to challenge yourself and take yourself to that next level in your practice. So coming up onto the knees, from here, again, I'm going to start pressing the hips forward, and I'm going to take one of my hands. This time my fingers are facing down, but you can have the fingertips up. Again, personal preference. I'm going to inhale and take my right hand high, and you can see what happened as I did that, and I'll demonstrate that again. I'm going to inhale, and I've already automatically lifted up through the heart space. So as I start my back bend and I'm reaching that arm all the way back, my left hand comes down to the heel, and I continue that reach all the way to the back of the room and eventually take that hand to the heel. Then take my press forward with the hips, opening the heart space. And then come back out. You can lift out the way you went back in. And again, that's personal preference. And if you do that lift on the right side, with the extension through that right arm, and it is my best advice to you, if you do it on one side, do it on the other. Maintain that balance. It's all about balance. The spine, one of those shoulders would be really unhappy if you opened the right and didn't open the left. So we will take Ustrasana one more time if anyone was stretching through and lifting with the hand. So coming back up onto the knees into this half standing pose. You can separate the knees just slightly further. Again, we're not going to take crazy knees. So go, okay, these are where my hips are, and then just angle it out ever so slightly. What you're going to do is allow for a little bit more rotation in the hips and possibly opening. What we don't want to do is crunch into the spine. And so one of the beautiful things about this lift is it actually teaches you to separate the ribs from the hips so that you're lengthening out of that and you're not compressing into the lumbar spine. But as you breathe, you're lifting the heart space and feeling that extension through the back body. So bringing the hand to the hip, and I actually like to place my thumb right at the center of my pelvic girdle there. Take an inhale, lifting that hand, pressing forward with the hips, reaching back with the hand, taking the right hand down and feeling that extension with the left hand. Oh, it feels so good. Really reaching, eventually taking the left hand down. Take 3 rounds of breath here. And coming back out. Tucking the chin to the chest, dropping the hips to the heels, hands to the knees, knees together. Sasangasana, a rabbit pose. I love a bit of rabbit. I'm vegetarian, I don't eat them, I just pat them. So, we are going to come into Sasangasana. So, thumbs, these little bad boys here, are on the outside of the ankle, and the tops of the hands are resting on the soles of the feet. So this is our first posture. We're going to take an inhale. You can feel the chest rise here, and as you exhale, I want you to sink a little bit deeper towards the heels. So you're sinking the hips into the heels. As you do this, you're going to tuck the chin into the chest and begin to roll the body down. So you're making like a cinnamon scroll with the body. I love a cinnamon scroll. And you're bringing the forehead to the knees and the crown of the head to the earth. Grab hold of the heels. With your inhale, lift, squeeze the legs together, squeeze the ankles together. Lift the hips as high as you can. You should be feeling through the back body here, maybe a little bit across the shoulders. Really grab a hold of the feet and draw the shoulders away from the ears, using the strength of the biceps to pull and lift. It's like natural human traction. With the next inhale, slowly bringing the head up. Exhale and release. I like to have hands to the knees, tuck the chin to the chest. Just have a momentary reprieve here. You may also like to press the hands into the thighs, gently tilt the hips and lift forward. Just having a little bit of an exploration here. Again, you don't have to be fixed or firm, you just have to explore. And it feels good. So, ready to take Sustainably one more time. Gripping the heels. We're going to take an inhale. As you exhale, surrender back. Tuck the chin to the chest, rolling down like a cinnamon scroll. Grabbing hold, forehead to the knees, crown of the head to the earth. Inhale, lift. Squeeze, 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 and lift. Elbows lengthening. I don't know how you lengthen an elbow. Grip the heels. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. All the way up out of your cinnamon scroll. Exhale. And release. We're going to drop our hips down to the earth. We're going to take just one final pose before our Shavasana in this tutorial. So hopefully you've got a block handy, and if you don't have a block, get your fattest cookbook, your Margaret Fulton's, wrap it in a towel, or your French cookery book if you're a chef, or maybe it's your MasterChef cookbook, maybe it's, I'm looking around my kitchen seeing what else I've got in here, maybe it's a couple of pillows together. So I want you to lie onto your back, and you would have seen a demonstration of this previously. We're going to come into supported bridge. So lying down onto the back, oh, feeling that beautiful surrender of the back body into the earth. Love it, love it, love it. We're going to bring the heels up to the hips. Tuck the chin slightly so you have that elongation through the cervical spine. Press the feet into the earth. And you can take the block underneath the sacrum. So you don't want it underneath the bum cheeks down here, and you don't want it all the way up in the lower back, so you're creating this little archy bobachi. You want it underneath the pelvic girdle, so the sacrum, just there, and that feels pretty groovy. So, like I've said before, there are 3 levels with your block. So this is your first level, and that's demonstrated in the other video. So I'm going to demonstrate just this second level here today. So I've got this right underneath my pelvic girdle. I've elbows into the mat, so I've tucked my wings away. So I've got my arms out to the side here, and here we are, supported bridge. This feels pretty lovely. I've got that little bit of extension through my cervical spine, chin tucked. Got a little bit of open heart action happening here. This feels quite nice. So you can stay here in this lovely supported bridge variation, or you can take the feet out to the sides of the mat and take the heels and try and feel a little bit of length happening with those heels, and then take the respite where you just relax the feet. Take a really deep breath. As you go to exhale, open the mouth and relax. Feel that beautiful sigh that just allows you to let go of anything that you're holding on to. You can even close the eyes down here. Just connecting with the breath. If This is like a little mini inversion. I totally forgot to do our crow poses. I totally forgot. I was going to bust out and do some crows. So if you want to pause for a moment and get out and bust out a few crows, go for gold. But otherwise you'll just have to kind of tack it on somewhere. I got so excited about camel. Connecting with the breath. In this posture, we're actually really trying to get in tune with the art of surrender. A little bit of hip opening for a release of the psoas, and a little bit of heart opening. If you want to go a little bit more, I'm just going to shift that block. You can take the arms over the head, grab hold of each opposite elbow. Feel that stretch as well. And just stay here for another 3 rounds of breath because it feels so delicious. You can actually stay here for as long as you like. Feel free to press pause and just hang out. Or you can just ignore my Shavasana instructions and you can hang out here and then take Shavasana in your own sweet time. So with that third breath, I'm just going to bring the hands back down to earth, hands palms to the floor, feet come back towards the hips. Press the feet into the earth, lift the hips up off the mat, put that block to the side, allow the spine to connect in with the earth. Take the feet out, take a deep inhale, you might need to tuck the wings again. Exhale and find your Shavasana. So just connecting in with the breath here. Staying lying down, connecting in with the breath. Feeling the back body connected to the earth. You might even feel the belly rise and fall. Perhaps you've still got a little bit of heart action happening. And as you take some deep inhale and exhale, just slowing yourself down. Coming back to that space of love. You've gifted yourself this time on the mat to love and care for yourself. So I hope that throughout your practice, your ahimsa, self-talk, was in check, and that you practiced compassion and sent yourself love with each breath that you took through your practice. If you're still connected to breath, allow that connection to simply disappear. Your breath will lovingly support you for the next few minutes in this Shavasana, this place of blissful surrender. Relax the toes, relax the feet, relax the ankles, relax the shins, the knees, the thighs, and the hips. Surrender the belly down to the spine. Connect the whole back body, feeling weighted and heavy, into your mat, deeply grounding and connecting you with Mother Earth. Release any tension from the shoulders. Allow the shoulders to feel heavy. Allow the wave of relaxation to work its way down the arm, to the elbow, to the forearm and the wrists, eventually making its way into the hands, and feeling any tension just drift away from the fingertips. Relax the neck and the head. Relax the forehead and the hairline. Relax the eyebrows and the eyes. If any thoughts drift into the head, thank them for being there and allow them to gently drift away. This is your Shavasana, your place of blissful surrender, where you are loved and supported. Rest now for the next few minutes. I'm going to leave you in your blissful surrender. Please enjoy. Take 10 minutes, take 20, just take a time out. Thank you for practicing with me and taking time for your mind, body and spirit on the mat today. I hope you enjoyed this flow, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.